I am Mary Joy Amasin. So today I'm going to discuss the result of my study entitled Merge and Move Operations in ALS Sentence Construction, a Minimalist Approach. But before we discuss the results, I will discuss first the background of my study. So the Alternative Learning System, or ALS, in the Philippines play a role in providing non-traditional learners with opportunities for education. Despite its importance, many as students face significant barriers to language acquisition, including limited access to instructional materials, inadequate formal grammar instruction, and socio-economic challenges. These obstacles are particularly evident in their ability to construct grammatically accurate sentences, as they often lacked of syntactic foundation required for English sentence production. Also, analyzing how ALS learners employ merge and move operations provides insight into syntactic development and highlights specific challenges they face. Furthermore, this research aimed to bridge the gap between their bilingual backgrounds and the syntactic demands of English, offering actionable strategies for educators and program developers to enhance language acquisition among ALS framework. So the statement of the problem of my study first is, how do ALS students apply merge and move operation in constructing English sentences? This means that this question investigates their ability to combine words into phrases and sentences, which is called merge, and to arrange elements for transformation, which is called move. The next question is, what syntactic challenges do ALS students encounter in the use of merge and move operation? So this is focused on specific errors such as incorrect word order, omission of elements, or issues with auxiliary verbs that hinder sentence constructions. Next question is, how can understanding these challenges inform teaching methods that address all students' needs? So, this study seeks to recommend strategies to improve the teaching of English syntax to ALS students. So the objective of my study is to analyze again how ALS students use merge and move operation in sentence construction, to identify common syntactic challenges in their sentence construction, and to propose strategies for improving sentence construction skills in ALS students. So this study is grounded in Noam Chomsky's minimalist program with 1995. This study is based on the principle again of the minimalist program by Chomsky 1995, emphasizing language as a system governed by universal grammatical rules. Key operations include merge. We say merge again, combine lexical elements to build hierarchical sentence structures. And merge reflects basic sentence building skills, crucial for construction simple declarative sentences. Next is the move. It is to rearrange sentence elements to create new grammatical forms. Move requires higher order cognitive skill, particularly in transformation like passive construction and question forms. So that's it. Next is the review of related literature. Generative Grammar and Minimalist Program, Chomsky 1995, highlights merge and move as universal operations, enabling language acquisition merge builds foundational structure, while move facilitate transformation, allowing for the construction of complex sentences. So Radford, according to Radford 2009, explains that these operations simplify syntactic analysis are essential in teaching sentence construction to language learning. So the bilingual learners and syntactic challenges, this is a continuation of my review of related literature, are, according to Ortega and Adlin, discuss how bilingual learner experience language transfer where native language structure influence second language learning. Cebuano and Hiligaynon speakers, for instance, may struggle with SVO, word order, due to the differences in their native syntax. According also to Lightbound and Spada 2013, note that bilinguals often misapply first language patterns in second language grammar, particularly in operations like move, leading to errors in question formation and passive voice. As learners and sentence construction. Santos 2019 highlights the socioeconomic and educational barriers ALS students face, particularly in mastering formal grammar. While much research focused on literacy, the syntactic grammar and the syntactic development of ALS learners remains underexplored. Bautista 2001 identifies gaps in sentence construction among ALS learners, attribute this to varied levels of literacy and inconsistent exposure to English. So again, this studies establishes a strong theoretical foundation of this research and highlights the need for tailored grammar instructions for ALS as students. By addressing the gaps in existing studies, this research seeks to enhance ALS learners' syntactic competence and contribute to more effective teaching methods in non-traditional learning environments. So the methodology, so this study used descriptive qualitative approach in order to appreciate the subtle details involved in sentence construction among ALS learners using the merge and move strategies. This design will allow for analysis for particular sentences as well as common structures among participants, result in rich data on syntactic phenomena. So my participants of my research are 10 ALS students with varying levels of English proficiency. So to understand the results of this study, I'll give you the backgrounds of my participants. So again, the participants in this study are homogeneous group of learners, adults and young learners with different ages, enrolled in ALS, which is Alternative Learning System, characterized by varying levels of literacy. They demonstrate different proficiencies in constructing sentence level output, ranging from simple phrase to more complex sentence structures. Their diverse linguistic backgrounds and exposure to formal education provide a unique opportunity to analyze their approaches to sentences, construction, ability patterns in their development of language skills. So that's the background of my participants. They're homogeneous, different ages, some stop at the age of 13, 16 because of early pregnancy, some because of behavior disciplines, family problems, financial problems also. Even though we all know that there are public school na, what do you call this one, free, but when it comes to fare, school uniforms, snacks, they can afford like that, so they prefer to work and choose alternative learning system, so that in weekdays they can work and in weekends they can go to school also. So the task that they're going to do in merge task, students combine provided words into grammatical correct sentences. To move task, students transform sentence into question or passive forms. So in data collection, observation of students' performance and task, interview to gather insight into their difficulties, and analysis is patterns of success, errors, and hesitation were documented and analyzed. Now let's proceed. So based on my data gathering, so in merge task, let's discuss first the merge task, the activity we've done. So out of 10 students, 6 successfully completed the merge task, demonstrating a good understanding of basic sentence construction rules. This group of students also managed to create and combine all the given words and phrase into a complete meaningful sentences. For example, when I provided with bird, a, and flew away, they are going to arrange that one into an accurate sentence. So out of 10, 6 successfully formed the accurate sentences. A bird flew away. So another example, when giving writing is and she a letter, their output was correct sentence. She is writing a letter. So in merge task, again, 6 successfully completed the merge task. A merge task is that in merge task, I'll give them rumbled words to arrange into a complete or correct sentence. However, 4 students encountered difficulties with the merge task, producing sentences with notable errors. Some exhibited word misordering, such as dog barking the, which reveals challenges in following the SVO, means subject, verb, object, structure of English. Others omitted essential elements, even though I gave them the correct instruction. Some students still having a hard time in that task. Again, other omitted essential elements as seen in dog barking, which lacks the required article the. Some can misordering, some omitted, even though I repeated not once, twice, or many times every time they ask. Additionally, certain students added unnecessary words, such as in the dog it is barking, suggesting confusion in sentence structure, possibly influenced by interference from their first language. These findings emphasize the need for targeted instruction on sentence structure, focusing on SVO order, the use of articles, and avoiding redundancy. Now, let's proceed to the move task. So, out of 10 students, kanina, a while ago, in merge task, out of 10 students, 6 successfully understand or completed the task. While in the move task, out of 10 students, 5 successfully completed the move task. So in move task, out of 10 students, 5 successfully completed the move task, showcasing their ability to transform sentences into new syntactic structure. For instance, when asked to perform "the cat is sleeping" into a question, correct responses like "is the cat sleeping" demonstrated a proper understanding of subject auxiliary inversion. Similarly, in transforming "the dog chased the ball" into a passive sentence, correct outputs such as "the ball was chased by the dog" reflected the student grasp of passive voice formation. However, the 5 remaining students encountered difficulties with the move task, committing errors such as incorrect placement of auxiliary verbs, exemplified by "is sleeping the cat," which reveals confusion regarding English question formation rules. Other students produce partial transformation like "the cat is sleeping" is repetitive, indicating an incomplete understanding of the operation. Some outputs, such as "sleeping the cat is," exhibited issues with subject-verb agreement and word sequences. Overall, the move task presented greater challenges rather than the merge. We all know that merge is arrange into arrange words to form a sentence or phrase, as it required more advanced syntactic manipulation. This observation highlights the need for explicit instruction on transformational grammar rules, especially in forming questions and properly utilizing auxiliary verbs. So, this bar graph illustrates the performance for all students in merge and move task. So here's the analysis of comparative analysis. The bar graph illustrates the performance of all students in merge and move task. For the merge task, again, 6 out of 10 students successfully completed the activity, showcasing a solid understanding of basic sentence constructions. So those are the students who were able to combine words and phrase syntactically accurate sentences. However, in merge task, there are 4 students unsuccessfully completed the task. Those students encountered difficulties producing errors such as incorrect word order, omission of grammatical elements, or adding unnecessary words. So overall, the merge task has a slightly higher success rate at 60% compared to the 15% success rate in move task. This difference highlights the increased cognitive and syntactic demands of move operation. The finding emphasized the need for tailored instructional strategies to address specific challenges, particularly for tasks requiring advanced syntactic manipulation like move operation. So again, there are some challenges observed in the task. So in the merge task, 4 students faced notable challenges in combining words or phrases into grammatically correct sentences. So the problems identified in the linking and transfer of tasks revealed common themes that reflect the difficulties our students face in building their English vocabulary. So for overall insights, the study revealed that all students demonstrating varying degrees of proficiency in applying merge and move operations in English sentence construction. The merge task focused in combining words and phrase into coherent sentences were successfully completed 60% of students. However, 40% struggled with errors such as incorrect words, incorrect order, omissions, of essential elements, and redundancy indicating challenges in mastering basic grammatical rules. In the move task, which involve construction, provide even more demanding. Only 50% of the students completed this task correctly, while the rest exhibited difficulties such as misplaced auxiliary verbs, incomplete transformation, and errors in grammatical hierarchy. So that's it. So to answer the objective 1, to analyze how all students use merge and move operation sentence construction, students of ALS apply merge operation that operate at the movement of lexical items into syntactic structural units for the construction of logical grammatical correct sentence, like when the component of the dog and is barking emerge to form the sentence the dog is barking. Such as process is stereotypically carried out by knowing what order should be put in place for each of those words. This really mostly present as subject, verb, object in English. The other way that merge works in including in some supporting elements like article the and auxiliary verb is, without which grammatical correctness can't be achieved. In the move operation is when a student manipulates their sentence in such a way that they are attain a sort of transformation. In merge again is to arrange those words to form a sentence or phrase, and the move operation is to create a transformation from simple sentence to passive or creating a question. For instance, the cat is sleeping changes to is the cat is sleeping, as they understand how to treat auxiliary verb and reposition them baked in. Passive construction operate by move, including like saying the dog chased the ball, transform into the ball was chased by the dog. It take higher order thinking where students switch and change the structure of a sentence without having to shift meaning of all sentence at all. So again, in that graph shows that in merge task there are 6 out of 10 students successfully completed the task, while 4 having a difficulty in that task. And in move task naman, there are 5 students can transform sentences into questions or passive voice. And there are 5 students who cannot do the task. To identify common syntactic challenges in their sentence constructions. So the study made clear the main syntactic problems confronted by early English language learner in sentence building tasks, especially in the merge and move operation. For merge, shows difficulties like word order errors such as dog barking the, which indicate the failure to conform the SVO structure in English. Additionally, particularly among those less proficient, students failed to include some crucial grammatical elements leading to incomplete expressions like dog barking, which intended to showcase their incomplete conceptualization of the articles the and a, and auxiliary verb as valid members in English language arena. Redundant sentence like the dog it is barking were other instances whereby students had word ties likely through interference from their respective first language. The challenges were prominent in move task. Students often misplace auxiliary verb, resulting in sentence like is sleeping the cat. This sentence does not conform to standard question structure. Partial transformation were also common, such as the cat is sleeping is. Students started with the transformation successfully, but they didn't quite finish it correctly. Similar confusion with putting words into correct order is also evident in expression like sleeping the cat is, which show that students were confused with regards to grammatical hierarchy. Again, there were problems with passive construction with utterance like the ball chased by the dog, which lacked of auxiliary verb was or is. So these challenges would explain by the contribution of knowledge, language interference, limited exposure about English, grammar, and cognitive overload handling complex sentence operation. By ALS learning in this constructing these sentences, this must be handled through explicit instruction, learning scaffolding, and plenty of practice to enhance their skill in construction sentences. So objective number 3, how can understanding these challenges inform teaching methods that specifically address students' sentence construction needs? So the basic construction sentence is relatively more accurate if improvement is done with approaches. Some issues faced by students are incorrect word order, omission of grammatical components, and the use of auxiliary verb. The counter that there can be grammar instruction in basic rules such as SVO and the use of auxiliary verbs. Dividing the content into segment may also quicken the learning process. You combine of the sentence by using merge, a basic sentence episode, and use move, which is a transformation of some sentences for more complex tasks. With demonstrative pictures and explicit instruction to focus on smaller tasks can help with building their confidence level. So using endless practice and group work based on collaboration, like passing activities and learning with colleagues, can boost their understanding. Highlighting the mistakes immediately will assess students to make changes and be the better version of themselves in the future. So these techniques will help students with ALS to bypass their limitations and be able to structure and form correct English sentences that present their ideas coherently. So in conclusion, in this study, the merge and move operation were found ALS students to build English sentences and the syntactic issue which they experience. What this conclusion provide for teaching approach? So the result demonstrated that most of them had performed well in merge task in combining for grammatical correct sentence from words and phrases. Move tasks, on the other hand, were more difficult for most of learners. Students faced challenges with auxiliary verb placement, partial transformation, and word reorder whenever a case demand an explicit higher order manipulation of syntax. So this highlights the wide differences in syntactic competence level of the ALS learner. This study also found that it was common for students to make mistake in SVA, subject-verb agreement, apply wrong tenses, misplace grammatical elements in certain statements, and redundancy in merge task. Along with the question formation and passive voice errors in move task, these challenges stem from the influence of the native language. Limited. So as a volunteer of ALS, this is my first time volunteer as an ALS community ALS implementer. Based on my observation, they are limited exposure to English syntax. Like maybe they are afraid, or maybe they don't have the confident. Because based on my observation, when it comes to answering the sentence, they're too shy. But I'll give them some motivation as a volunteer. I give motivation. Again, these challenges stem from the influence of the native language, limited exposure. If we say native language, kasi some of my students are, what do you call this one? Manubo, I think. as what I have said in the background of my participant, homogeneous. Yes, homogeneous. They're 30 years old, 16 years old, 15 years old. Different ages, different background, different personalities in one classroom. Next, this challenges stem from the influence of native language, limited exposure to English syntax, and cognitive overload during longer tasks. Their understanding is directly implicated in the methods of teaching. The study calls for explicit grammar instruction as well as the concerning the SVO structure, auxiliary verbs, and conversation of sentences. Target areas that students need to develop proficiency. One such area have been addressed: educator will be better support IELTS learning, instruction correct, and meaningful sentence in English, thus facilitating their overall language ability. So for recommendation, incorporate explicit grammar instruction and transformation. Teachers should provide focused and systematic lesson on SVO, subject, verb, object, structure, and the correct placement of auxiliary verb. Emphasis should be placed on basic grammar rules and sentence constructions, ensuring students understand the foundation aspect of English syntax. Interactive teaching aid, such as sentence diagram and word manipulation tools, are suggested to simplify explanation of complex structure. Use scaffolded tasks to gradually increase complexity. Instruction should begin with simple tasks involving basic merge operation before gradually processing to more complex transformation using the move operation. Next is provide practice drills focusing on common error patterns. Provide practice drills focusing on common error patterns, repetitive exercise and question formation, passive voice construction, and sentence reordering should be integrated into the curriculum. Both individual and collaborative activities can foster a deeper understanding for syntactic rules. So encouraging bilingual approach to address language interference. So that's it. Thank you and God bless.